Hi, everyone, and thanks so much for joining us for this episode of Adventures of the Awakened Heart. My name is Julie Tara, and I'll be your host. And you can please check out about me if you want to below in the description. The reason for starting this podcast is I feel at this time, this difficult time we're all having, unusual time on a worldwide scale, we're really being called to look much deeper into our value systems and our beliefs and what really matters. And that takes us right into the heart. So that's why I've started this. And I'm super excited today to have a lovely friend of mine from England, from where I was born. And she's going to join us, Pamini. And let me tell you a little about Pamini before we get her on here. So Pamini Rathore is a successful entrepreneur and spiritual seeker. Professionally, she's involved in a family franchise business along with real estate. Personally, she has a profound curiosity to dive deeply into the knowledge of spirit science. She actively studies the Hindu Vedic literature, along with keeping updated on the latest discoveries in the field of neuroscience, thanks to Gaia. She has a YouTube channel called Forgotten Ancient Knowledge and a Facebook page of the same name. So please do check out the links below. I will make sure to put both the YouTube link and the Facebook link so you can learn more about Pamini. So Pamini, hello, hello.
Hello, it's an absolute pleasure. Thank you for having me here, Julie.
I'm so excited to be with you. And we met a while back at Gaia in terms of on the phone. We talked about doing Gaia gatherings in England. And yeah, I was very excited that you were excited to do that. And then we talked about the ambassador program with Gaia. And then we
we
did.
did.
Yeah, we did. And then we really connected when I had this very unusual dream a few months ago of a very large Shakti appearing in the sky. And I was looking at her and she was dancing and she was huge and just like in her element. And then I walked into a house and then I walked back out of the house and looked up and she had transformed into Shiva. And that was the end of the dream. And I did not know what to make of that dream until we talked. And then you really helped me with that dream. And I knew it was an important, significant dream. And then you sent me this marvelous image, which was half Shakti, half Shiva. And when you sent it, I was so moved and just cried because it was basically what I'd experienced, although I had seen all of Shakti and then all of Shiva, but I knew that one was the other. So that was our really deep connection. And that's for me where my heart just opened to you 100%.
Yeah, and it was the same experience for me as well. I'm really glad, first of all, that I was able to help you with your dream to start with. In India, this image that you just described it's called as Ardhanarishvara, which is part Shiva and part Shakti. It's part male and female. So in short, it represents the union between the masculine and the feminine energy. And I really love this beautiful philosophy at its core. Spiritually, it suggests that, it's totality beyond duality. And philosophically also, it means that to coexist, to be, in union within yourself, you have to be aligned materialistically and spiritually at the same time. I mean, it can just go on and on and on and on, but this purity, this union that it represents, I just love it, and I'm really glad that you had a dream like this and you had visioned something so beautiful that really has a very significant. It has a really huge significance in Hindu culture at the same time. So I'm truly blessed that you shared this such an intimate thing with me.
Thank you, Pamini. It's really great to hear that. I have an Indian friend here, and I told him the dream. He said that's a really significant dream in our world, in the Hindu world. You pay attention. I'm like, Okay, I will. And actually, I started this other podcast about radiant wisdom, the radiant wisdom of the mystics, and I've been reading some of the Vedas, and I know
Mm,
you're very interested
wow.
in studying the Vedas, as your biography says, and I just have always found them so beautiful. So I'm now reciting like the hymn of creation and putting it out there on a new podcast.
Yeah, actually, it covers every aspect of your life. Honestly, anything that you can think of, it's absolutely covered in Vedas, be it astrology, astronomy, science, neuroscience, psychology, you name it. Even by the way, surgery as well. So it basically it's just not related with religion. I mean, and that would be a wrong thing to say. It's just not religion, but it's the way of life. And that's what Vedic culture represents. It was never about religion. It was never about cause, but it suggested that you are God and how are you supposed to perfect yourself. It's as simple as that.
Oh, I love that. Thank you for explaining more about that. That's so fantastic. It's a lot like Taoism, which I've studied a lot, which isn't really a religion either. It's more
Mm.
of a philosophy, but it really is a way of life. So yeah, this is good. This is rich right away. I knew it would be. Um, well, let's talk a little bit about Gaia to start. Just you've been a Gaia member for a while, and I'd love to ask, what is,
Mhm.
the aspect of Gaia that you really find the most important for you?
Uh, First of all, I would like to start with a really small story. Even as a child, I really had a good soul compass, but I was always this odd duck. Instead of playing outside and be with my friends and stuff, I would rather just be at library reading all this really dense literature and philosophical books that I would never really kind of get a proper grasp of reason behind my we get rational at the end of the day, don't we? And we start thinking about these things, and we want more, something scientific, a base, so as to prove into what we really want to believe. I loved what I was reading, but it just had no base. And for me, this is where Gaia comes into the picture. When I stumbled upon Gaia, and I absolutely had an epiphany. I loved what I found. The content absolutely blew me away. It had so much to offer, and not just in one aspect, but be it spirituality or science or ancient civilization, or if you're into aliens and UFOs, and basically just name it and you have it, and it's beautiful. And most importantly, I felt as if I found a community, when I'm not an odd duck anymore. Apparently there's so many people like me, and it's a powerful notion in itself that I'm not alone. And what else, you can ask for more, and you can connect with more people. And like with Gaia gatherings also, it was really nice, because that really gave us an option. When within your area you can meet people like you, and it would be nice to have friends who are like you, who understand what you're trying to say, rather than people just staring at your face and saying, "What?" And I think Gaia is like the best friend I've never had, to sum it up.
It's great to hear that, because I feel like a lot of us feel that way, that we've been into this kind of knowledge, it's like a university of the soul, but we feel a bit alone and isolated in it. We don't often have friends that are as interested as we are.
Yes.
So I think that's a huge piece about the community, and why I started the Facebook group. The Gaia Global Community is like, hey guys, we're all here.
Yeah.
Let's share knowledge and share what we love, and then I post links to different things that I love, and say, if you want something different, like someone asked the other day for Ayurveda, so I was like, yeah, I'll put some beautiful links to Ayurveda on there. So we did that. And it's important to not feel alone with this. And in Cambridge, just so you know, when I was about 16, my
Mhm.
first boyfriend took me to the cinema. It was the Arts Theatre downtown Cambridge, and he took me there, and we saw Eric von Daniken's movie Chariots of the Gods, that film. and I was
Huh?
16, and I walked out of there going, of course there are other life forms on other planets. Why would we think there aren't? Why are we so arrogant? And why don't we talk about it?
Yes.
You know?
True, true. It just be so stupid to think that we are the only. It does not make any sense. I mean, look at our own ancient civilization. We can't even make what is that, let alone how can we even think? Or like you mentioned, we're so arrogant within ourselves that what we can't comprehend, we guard it by saying, "What? This is nonsense, garbage." But hello, maybe we don't understand it. How about at least keeping an open mind and say that maybe I don't understand it, and let's take it forward from there.
Exactly, Pamini, exactly. I think it's having the open mind and the open heart to explore versus just shutting it down. So let's talk about, your spiritual life. Like, when did you feel like you were just born very conscious? Because to me, you're a very conscious human being. Has this been your whole life, or when did it begin?
That's very kind of you to say, but honestly, I do feel, and I very strongly feel at the same time that every person born on this planet is born awakened, and is born with some special, spiritual gifts at the same time. It is only a matter of when you become aware of it. For me, I think I became more aware when at a very early stage in a way, because I was always connected with nature, or nature's always been such an intrinsic part of my life. I revolve around it. I mean, it's not the other way around. I love, I love, I love the connection that it brings inside me. For me, that awakening. I think for me, being awakened is pretty much awakening in every moment as I live on. You know what I mean? So as and when, in whatever moment I feel I'm in present, I feel that I'm aware, and suddenly I see and my mind stops, and I see this glorious, magnifying thing in front of me, staring right at me, as if asking, just look at me. What are you on and on about in your head? Just look at me. And that kind of consistency nature provides us, and it's made me more um, aware. It's made me more content. It's made me more observant in a way. I see how beautifully everything is in sync. Only thing that is out of context is us, and it's only because we are so much within our head that we really can't see how effortlessly everything around us is working, how everything is in union with each other. But like I said, we are positively awakened, but the real question is, are we even aware of it?
I feel like when you speak about it, I'm feeling the idea of the music of the spheres. You know how everything
Yeah.
is dancing together, music, it's playing, it's symphonies, it's harmonics, and we are too, but we have this mind that kind of flips us out of it and question.
Yes. Yes, I mean it's the entire universe is dancing in its own rhythm. We are the part of it, but sadly, or I don't know, for whatever reason, we have our own tune, and so we can go in and out of it at the same time at our choice, and that's what I think it is the best gift and the curse at the same time. This choice that we have been given at the same time by nature. But if we can simply be in sync, uh, it brings this so much beauty from itself, that love that we feel, that how we feel as if we are just kind of growing, we are expanding. That feeling is just unbelievable.
It is. And I think nature's the perfect place to really get back in sync when we're out of sync, to just go back. And I know growing up in Cambridge, I used to go in nature all the time and just feel like I was, in my happy place in nature, climbing trees, climbing haystacks, sitting by the river, watching the swans,
Yes,
sitting under the willow
yes,
trees, hugging the willow tree, loving them. The oak trees, I used to dance around them, especially in the full moon. I used to go out at night in the full moon in the garden and just dance under the full moon. It just made me happy. Nobody told me to do it. Nobody said
yes.
it was a ritual. I just wanted to.
And see, that's what we have to understand. There is nothing like ritual anyway. It is something that you do, or something that happens to you, that makes you do something from heart. And if you understand that kind of thing, and if it's happening over and over again, maybe it might just become religion, or ritual, as you just mentioned. But it has a base, and the base is just how it makes you feel from your heart. It's as simple as that. We make it so complex, don't we?
We do make it complex, and I mean that is actually sort of my next question is, what does the awakened heart mean to you? But I feel like you're speaking it already. You're absolutely speaking into that answer to that question.
I know. um, if I For me, there's so many aspects towards being awakened, but the most important part to me is to be non-judgmental. A person, a heart that is non-judgmental is truly awakened to me. Because the moment that judgment is taken away from you, right, you'll actually be surprised how much more you're willing to reason with others, to see their problems. You'll feel that you're more filled with more compassion, more empathy, and so much more love. But it is all blocked by, because our mind is so much into the past, what happened, and is for some reason always fearing future, that it takes you away from the present moment. So the best gift that you can give to yourself is, please just do not judge as much as possible, because judgment takes away the most precious thing from you, the reason why you're experiencing this moment, and that is the present. It takes you away from the present. So any person who's able to be by themselves, can see you for what you are. So what, you did this, so what, that I think you've done this thing is silly, or something that is not by my standard. But who creates that standard? Who creates the duality? How about we see the beyond? And to be able to see beyond, just to be part the mirage, and see not just the reflection but beyond, is the true gift, isn't it? And I think, and that is what an awakened soul does, is simply be aware of you as you are. There's nothing more to it. I feel
Wow.
that.
This is so beautiful. This is sort of reminding me in a way of the Buddha, like, and the whole Maya, the illusion, and just watching the illusion and knowing it's the illusion, and just letting it fall away consistently, whatever demons or angel, just letting it go, and then you are really in the oneness. And that seems like true wisdom to me. True wisdom.
Yes, absolutely. I mean, even in with literature, we have devas and the rakshas, which says that, how your mind is constantly juggling between the superiority complex and the inferiority complex, and how there's always this tug of war going on in between. So our job is only to find a balance, because you cannot not make your mind stop from working. It is its job to keep on working. But what we can do is simply observe it. We become that third party if we can, as much as possible, and not let the judgment cloud into what we are seeing.
It's perfect, because especially right now on the planet, there is so much judgment happening, with everything everybody's doing, in the politics and the pandemic, and what people think, and what they
Yeah.
actually, the actions. It's making me feel really sad when I'm seeing, like, sort of a neighbor judging a neighbor, or a Facebook friend judging a Facebook friend, and it's like, wow, really, this is not very helpful. This is just accentuating separation versus unity.
If you look at how these things are operating, I mean, I really, sometimes it just makes me laugh, right? Look at our duality to the kind of world that we live in. So for example, we in Instagram, the way our media, we are present in our social medias, Instagram or Facebooks, right? People buy the likes. you know they want to be more popular, they want to add in more accounts, and they're paying money for that. But who are those people? What is that one light going to give you any which way? Just going to make, one part of your brain ignite and just release a chemical which might like make you feel better for that nanosecond and then take away from you, again creating hole inside of you, and then you long for that thing again to fill that nanosecond of that hole. And it just does not justify. What you're looking for is something far and beyond. How do you complete yourself? The only thing that you're longing for is yourself. The moment you find yourself, the moment you stop judging yourself, is when we feel complete only.
Oh, it makes me feel really calm and relaxed when you say that. I love it. I love it. Well, Pamini, can I'm sure you have stories from your life that you could share with us that would illustrate some of this. Would you care to share?
Yeah, absolutely. I would love to. But in all honesty, I haven't yet experienced anything in my life that is life altering. I've been blessed. I'm really grateful. I've been blessed with beautiful parents. My life has been filled with love, and I was raised in with peace and love and security. And then I got married, and same things happened. So for some reason, this I've never had an experience of loss, or I never really suffered anything as such so as to bring in something new or something that made me realize. But what I can positively share here is this one thing that even we discussed once about this this loss, not even loss, but this lack of something within myself. As in, I have a soul, but then the part of my soul is kind of missing from within me. And I cannot really explain that part because everything in my life is absolutely perfect. It can't get better than what it already is. But still, why am I feeling the way I am feeling? There is no reason behind it. And if anybody asked me that, why are you feeling a bit depressed, or why are you feeling low, what is it that you think you're missing from your life? And I would say a huge part of me is missing, and I don't know what that is. I don't even know how to comprehend that kind of thing you know and uh, that really, that I think that kind of made me dwell more into books, and I would research more and more and more. And during one of those days, actually, I had one or two unique experiences, not life altering, I would say, but unique experiences that I had. And one of the experience was, I've already mentioned how connected I am with nature, and I was just doing gardening, and it's a beautiful day, and I'm really sensitive towards nature. Honestly, I've stopped watching news since ages. I cannot see any kind of brutality, nothing of the sort. I mean, start crying, and I just can't take it actually. And I was doing this garden, and by mistake, I tore a leaf, and oh my god, it might really make you laugh, but the kind of grief that I overcame in nanoseconds. I mean, I wasn't thinking, it just came over me. And for me, in that moment, time stopped. It was just me and that leaf in my hand, and really nothing, absolutely nothing. And I was feeling so much towards what just happened. And this is all happening within seconds. It's not like I'm mentioning more, but this is all happening really fast at the same time. And I'm only looking at it. And then I suddenly started seeing within my mind's eye, and I'm seeing this enormous white light coming out of my third eye towards the leaf. And from my heart, it's coming towards the leaf, and it's just flooding it with light, white light. And I think it might have just gone on for less than a minute or so. And I experienced, I'm really not lying, the leaf was healed. It had a scar, which was a proof that the tear definitely happened. The leaf was healed. And when I regained my senses, it scared me. And then I was shocked because I didn't know what to make of it. And I just checked, I just checked it so thoroughly, and I was like, okay, does this really happen? Is it even possible? Okay, what just happened? I didn't realize. And first I was a bit taken aback, and then I know a few people who are scientists, are also into Vedic literature, and I asked them, what really happened. And then obviously I'm seeing all this beautiful content at Gaia, and how like doctors, Bruce Lipton and Greg Braden, and they're talking all the similar languages. And I finally found answer as to what happened. And I asked this scientist friend of mine, and he said that what happened is there's this word in Hindu literature called as samadhi. That moment, that is what I experienced, where it was nothing but me and the leaf in that moment, and I realized how powerful is our heart really is. And imagine how much do we discount ourselves. Now, I don't have any extraordinary gift. It's nothing about the gift. It's nothing that I did something mystic. No, nothing. Any person can do that to themselves, to anybody around you, given the right frame of mind. With me, it just happens spontaneously because of the way that I feel about this plan and how connected I am with nature, with that grief, that thing that, oh my God, I did something like that to something that I absolutely love. And that just made my heart reacted in a way. But that state of mind is just so deep, and it just kind of really opened my heart. And it opened the way I see or perceive reality, that we don't really know ourselves at all. We discount ourselves so much. And that moment was, in a way, yes, altering for me, life altering for me. I can say that because it it made me meet me, and I realized that I'm so much more capable of doing than I give myself credit for. So that was
Wow.
really profoundly something for me.
It's an incredible story, and it makes me think of spontaneous healings, and it makes me think of when I've had like the Filipinos, where they do come in and they do the psychic surgery and everything. I mean,
Hmm.
it's extraordinary what is possible. And that story of the leaf, really healing is like, I mean, you got to a place of really experiencing your true self and the leaf's true self as well. And
Yes,
you became one, and your
we became one
desire
in the moment.
for the healing.
Yes,
Yeah. Yeah.
yes. And there was
I
nothing else.
sorry, go ahead.
No, so I was saying, there was just nothing else apart. I mean, in that moment, I was so centered that there was just me and the leaf and the healing and nothing else.
I really love this. I've been into healing, all my life, and I have to tell you, I have a plant. It's behind the computer here, and this plant was downstairs for a while, and I really wasn't paying attention to it. And I suddenly went down there one day, and it was all really sad. And I went, you're just not getting enough light, are you? So I brought it upstairs, and I started saying, I'm so sorry. I've left you down, kind of not in darkness, but a darker space. And
Mm-hmm.
over the last few weeks, it has gotten happier and happier and happier as it has more light. And I talk to it all the time, and I just say, I'm so happy you're happy. And
Me,
yeah.
yeah, yeah. Any gardener can always say, or understand or feel a plant's health. I don't know. There's always this unspoken language that we exchange at the same time. Don't we? We can just sense, oh, you're happy. I don't know. It just comes within. Like how pets. Sometimes dogs, they talk. They say stuff like "I love you" and things like that. We also see videos at the same time how we just feel that unspoken language, and there is no way we can discount it.
And what's really funny about this? I was talking to a friend of mine the other day, and she was saying she used to work in an Apple store, and people would come in very
Mm.
upset about their phone and their computer. And she would just say, just love your phone. Turn it off, love it, send it some love, and try it again. And so we started having this conversation about love. And I said, I always had motorbikes. In England, I was always on a motorbike going off to the Isle of Man or wherever I was going to explore
Yeah.
quiet, beautiful, wild places. And I used to talk to my motorbike all the time, and of course it would rain a lot, and then the spark plugs would get wet, and that's not very helpful. And I just love it. And it knew I loved it, and I knew it loved me. And so it always took care of me, even on the worst howling gales that we might have. I always felt safe on my motorbike because we were one. And then we were one with the road and one with the sky and one with everything. And then I had no fear. So I think it extends to inanimate objects, right? It's the nature and the plant life and the trees, but also the the rocks and the computers and the chairs and everything has life, has sentience.
True, absolutely true. And if you think about it, all these this Nazim Haran, this is what I think he's explaining in his videos at the same time, isn't it? I mean, all of these brilliant scientists, we are not separate from one another at all. You and me and this phone and the laptop and this bed sheet and everything that I can see around me and even your screen, we are all we are all connected. So even if we perceive this single Big Bang Theory thing, it all just exploded from one pea like thing. And when it exploded, everything is connected ever since then. Whatever that we see around us, including ourselves, and whatever we experience as it is a material which is made out of that one explosion as we know it. And so how are we not connected? We absolutely are. So in this moment, like we're just talking, we're only realizing, aren't we? We're simply realizing the fact.
It's a memory. It's like remembering. It's a constant
Yes.
remember. If we think of even the word itself, remember, it's a reconnection of what's always
True.
been there. And I love Nassim Haramein. He was just at the Gaia Sphere a couple of weeks ago, and I watched the
Wow.
whole thing on the live stream. And he's brilliant. And one thing he said that was so stunning was he said the whole universe is like cheerleading you on. The whole universe, it's benign and it's good and it wants your goodness, it wants your life to thrive and evolve. And some things, he said, things will break down in order for new things to birth that are about, even more evolved state from what was before. And I just love that. I thought that was so beautiful for us always to remember that everything is working in our favor and not against us.
True. True. Absolutely true.
So, Pamini, do you have another story you want to share? Please do. If you do, we have some time, and if not, we can move on. What do you feel?
Well, if we really have to talk about one more, I mean, I do have another story. I mean, it's not as unique as this, and honestly, it's really simple. I mean, there's nothing much to it, but it had it had even more deep impact on me. Um, there was this one fine day, I was simply sitting outside. It was during the lockdown when I was in India, right? And we live in a really big society, and then during lockdown it was, and I was just simply sitting. It was a beautiful day, not too cold, not too warm, and it was sunset. The birds were singing, and we have so many street dogs, and I was feeding them. The kids were playing. It was crowded at the same time, and for some reason I was simply sitting, and my attention just started going inwards and inwards, and I was aware, not that I was meditating, doing nothing. I was simply sitting and doing nothing. And as and when I'm becoming more and more aware of my breath and the gaps between my breath, and suddenly everything started to become more brighter, more unique, and it's just everything is just kind of now standing out on its own. Suddenly I just started experiencing this whole uh, rhythm of life that was happening around me, as if I was the center and it was all happening around me. And from the point of view of a spectator, I'm simply seeing everything happening at a different spaces, uh, but happening at the same time, so as to make sense of what's happening around me. And I know when I explain it, it really does not sound that exciting, but experiencing that thing, that experiencing that sync of a nature, that union that I felt in the moment that I realized that I am not separate, but I am the nature. I am not part of it, but I am the whole thing. How I am equally a part of this dog that I'm feeding, the birds that I'm seeing, this color of the sky and the sunset, and the kids playing, the ants feeding in the ground. So all of this thing, as in where my senses took me away with my eyes and ears and the smell and whatever that I was doing, uh, it just reminded me as if it just, that how deeply we are all connected, how how foolish I was to think at one point of time in my life that I am a sacred person. I am something, this or that, or however I would like to perceive myself. But I believe that there is nothing really like I or you. It's either just us. And if I just take that one I out of the equation and not separate you from me, that feeling, it is so unbelievable. I mean, I really cannot begin to express that feeling. And that had even more profound and life altering scenario for me, wherein to experience that kind of union, to just become nature out of simplicity. Nothing out of the context happening, nothing unique happening, nothing mysterious happening, nothing simple thing happening. It's just as simple as breathing in and breathing out. But coming into the present, being aware of yourself, as you are, and seeing things as they are and nothing else. It's just profoundly beautiful.
Ah, this is perfect because when it happens in those moments, it's like you couldn't make it happen if you tried, but it just sort of everything falls into place. And
Yes.
and I know exactly because I've had those moments. And one not so long ago, I was just standing outside a cafe. I mean, it was before the pandemic, so I guess it was a couple of years, but it doesn't feel like but a minute ago. And I was just standing with a cup of tea, and then I was just looking around, and the kids were laughing, and the dogs were lapping the water up, and everything was just perfect. There was this perfection to all the parts of the puzzle. And I felt the same thing, like I was at a center, like the center of a
Yeah.
vortex, and everything was just moving in harmony around me. And I felt this incredible peace, like so much peace. And I thought about, there's a saying, I think, the peace that surpasses understanding. It goes beyond understanding.
Yeah.
You don't know why you're feeling it, but you just are feeling it. And yeah, so I know, and I love it that it happens in these very mundane moments, if you like. And we put
Moments.
a word to it,
Yeah.
mundane, but just a
Yeah.
normal moment in a life. And I think that's actually points to the power and the truth of it, is that often does happen at those very normal times. Nothing special is going on, and but you somehow click in to this flow that is the flow of the whole thing, and you're like, oh, I am all of it, and all of it is me, and there is no I in that.
Yes, absolutely. In fact, I'd like to add on something to this, just so as for our viewers to understand. Not a good example, if I'm, but I'm still going to state it. Sometimes how when you smoke grass or something of the sort, how I'm not sure if you've ever experienced that thing in your life, but if you smoke a joint or marijuana, how it feels if everything brightens up and you start seeing as they are, and it's just a different kind of consciousness altogether. And then that's why I think people some way down the line they even get hooked to it. But this is having that kind of experience without having any kind of like without experiencing or without having to do any kind of substances to help you with. So that's the kind of power being in the present moment can give it to you.
Absolutely. And, I did used to live in Holland with Dutch National Ballet, so I certainly know about that part of life. But I always felt like, well, this is how I experience life anyway. It's just a little more enhanced. So I never really got too far into that, because I was like, but I think this is kind of how I live. So, but good point. So how would you say have these experiences changed who you are and your expression in the world? Or does it just deepen in a very quiet way who you are in the world?
I think it has definitely brought in a very positive change in me. I was an introvert, I would say. I still am, but thanks to my husband, I've opened up opened up a bit now. But otherwise, now I'm more open because of that. I just feel I'm more great to know story of others as well. I want to revolve around other human being, around the creature, other more. I want to expand from myself and onto everything else around me at the same time. I realize this one thing which I feel extremely strong about. I believe we are in the wrong business, by the way, within ourselves, as in we at the moment, we are simply just taking and taking and taking. But I believe the purpose that we were made for, and I think our deep rooted nature is more about giving. You know, give and give till your last breath. And I think that just brings in so much of abundance into you. You might feel as if you're emptying yourself, but on the contrary, the irony of the universe is the more you give, the more it fills you. you know it fills you with this abundance. People talk about it so much, and they say you have to visualize this and that and whatnot, feel this in your heart, blah blah blah. But I feel the more you give with the purity of the intention and the purity of the emotions and with all your heart, honestly, even if you empty yourself, you'll be surprised to know that this vessel that your heart is, it's never empty. It's even expanding more. On the contrary, it's just creating more space to fill in, and universe is simply showering you with more and more and more love and abundance. So I believe, to be in that state of mind when uh, you 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 don't want to judge anyone to start with, and then you open it to somebody else entirely. You're being absolutely truthful to yourself and to the others, and you don't fear giving it away. In that moment, that instant reality, you enter the state of abundance. Now, it is up to you as a person. You define what abundance is to you. Some people might define it as emotions, or some might define it into materialistic things. But I'm pretty sure universe is graceful. It will give you whatever you want, but do not be afraid to give at the same time.
Yes. Yes, absolutely. I feel it too. And all the times in life, especially being an entrepreneur for so many years, the more I just give without any expectation, but just to be a blessing in the world, it just does. It just flows back naturally, but not because I'm asking it to, it just the way it works. So I really agree with you on this a lot. And I think somehow we're brought up to think in terms of scarcity or in terms of acquisition, and it's not about acquisition. It's about giving
Mhm.
everything away till, like you said, till your last breath and the last drop. And I think when people get older, they experience that. I don't need anything else, and they start to divest themselves. It's a natural process, but maybe like breathing in and out. We grow up when we're children. We're very giving, and then there's a time where we sort of, oh, I need
Mhm.
to have something from the universe, and gather things, and then there's another big cycle of giving away again. But if we could do it in every breath, that's really powerful. And just the love of giving is nothing like giving. We're so happy when we give.
Yes,
And
exactly,
yeah.
exactly. I mean, that's what I said. We are in the wrong business within ourselves. And the funniest part is, right, I'm in the business of real estate as well. And I so deeply now feel, as in now that I'm getting more and more and more spiritual, right? And I realized how foolish are we to acquire or think that, I want more and more land for myself. It is not. It is not ours. It was there before we were born. It will be there after we die. Why are we wasting our life in something that is never going to be ours to start with?
Yeah, absolutely. There's the Native American tradition, is that nobody owns the land. It's a ridiculous thought, the earth is for
It's a very
everyone.
Indian thing. Indians always acquire. We like to possess things, not live your life to possess. keep acquiring, keep acquiring. And it's a very funny notion. And I can't believe it, how much of a time that you waste in acquiring things that you never even have time to enjoy.
It's a great awareness, Pamini, especially in this like acquisitive type culture all around the world now. It's become this way. Consumerism is the new religion, if you like, and it's very unfortunate, and it's harming our balance of the nature, the earth herself, Gaia, of our own relationships with one another. So your point is well taken. I'm going to move on a little bit now because I'm watching our time. And so I'd like to
Yeah.
ask you, what is your heart vision for our world now?
What vision for our world? Wow, that's a big question. I don't think I've got that kind of wisdom. But if I really have to say something, right, I would really feel a world would be so much better place if we start doing small things, right? Let's not really overwhelm ourselves with big things like, well, let's not really go for that hard six pack ass. Might as well just start taking baby steps towards walking. So similarly, that kind of things into our own personal development, right? So small things like try and be aware of yourself as much as possible. Try and be aware of your breath as much as possible. Try and be compassionate. But those still will be a later on stage, I personally feel, because you cannot fake these feelings. I might want to be compassionate for you, but I'm not feeling that thing at the moment. How do I do that? So we cannot do it. So we take baby steps. First, we start with ourselves. Let's just be aware of ourselves. Let's just try and be in the present moment. And second thing we can do is at least try and not judge. If we do these two things, honestly, I feel everything else will be automatically taken care of. And that's the only thing that I have to share.
Well, I love it. I love it, baby steps, because I think a lot of us, we do have these sort of grandiose ideas that we have to do something mega, something huge, something earth shattering to, make ourselves feel worthy of being here or something, and then of course you collapse to the other side, which is what have I done? Nothing. And then it's a ego thing of grandiosity and diminishment. But what I love hearing you say is that just one little step forward, being aware of our thoughts, or am I really feeling compassion, or am I trying to feel compassion, or am I pretending to feel compassion? What's actually happening? That's what I hear you say. So that's very it's not so daunting. Yeah, it's not like
Yeah.
we have to go and meditate in a cave now for 10 years and not eat anything but a little bit of gruel and that's it. It's like probably we're never going to do it. But if we can take that one step you're suggesting, I love that because everyone can do that.
And that's meditation in itself. Anybody who says gone into the cage after they come out after years of meditation, they've said the same thing. you know Meditation is about being in the present moment. But how do you be in the present moment? That's the most difficult thing to do. So they say they concentrate on your breath as much as you can be aware of your breath. That brings the focus back. That is it. And do not force yourself into things. Forcing is again being out of the sync. Simply observe it. You're being angry, be angry, but then observe yourself as a spectator. Take a step behind and see, why are you angry? What's really happening? What's going on at the back of our mind? Observe your thoughts, let it flow. Allow yourself to be equally dull, lazy, arrogant, all the things that we think are bad or negative kind of thinking. By the way, I don't think anything is negative or positive at the same time. Thinking is a thinking. We name it. I am feeling it, it means it is there. I am angry, it means it is there. Now, for me, all I can do is acknowledge it, see why I'm there, reason with it, and then let it go on. You move on from it. Once you acknowledge it, you'll see that feeling that's really angered you will go away because you're not carrying it at the same time with you, right? So acknowledge what you're feeling, and that you can only do it if you're aware of yourself, and
Well, I
only
love
present
this
will let you do it.
because it creates, I have a book here, I'm going to grab it. It creates the
Yeah,
non-resistance, like I
yeah,
was just reading again, Deepak Chopra's book. this
No,
one, the 7 spiritual laws of success. And he talks a lot about that, about the
I-
acceptance of every moment, not fighting it, because if you start to fight what is, then you're resistant, you're in resistance with the universe itself. That's not a very helpful place. So to just be in the moment and observe. And so I really love this, what you're saying. And in Taoism, it would be called Wu Wei. In the Wu Wei, it's like the flow. And then the more discerning you become, the more you know the right action to take at the right time, or no action to take. You're really
Mhm.
just listening and responding to what the universe is requesting in that moment, really. So this is great. So my last question to you is for everyone listening, is just, is there one sort of golden nugget or little diamond in the rough that you could bring for everyone to take away, that they could just remember that one thing?
Absolutely, absolutely. Just remember one thing. What a magnificent thing that you are. We are the universe crux, we are the universe juice, we are the elixir. How about we realize our potential as to what we are and stop judging ourselves, and let's not discount ourselves anymore. We are the connected being, we are the universe, and accept ourselves for who we are, rather than thinking, oh, I don't have this, oh, I'm too fat, oh, my hair doesn't look right, oh, this and all that. How about the fact towards what you have, and we are all walking gods among ourselves. It is just a matter of realizing how we see ourselves in each other. If we can do that, honestly, we're good to go.
I love this. And you said we are walking gods, and I would say goddesses. And, like
Yeah,
when I
absolutely.
experience you and when I hear and listen, I feel like you are a goddess of wisdom. You are like a Saraswati or a Parvati. You're just
Oh,
absolutely, you are. And it's so
oh,
beautiful. And when you speak it, I also feel it then too. I feel like, yes, I am that too. So that's, if everyone knew that they are the diamond of the universe, that their self-worth would just blossom, and I think we would have a far more peaceful, harmonious, joyful, connecting with each other universe going on. It's already happening, but human beings, we can be tricky, we can be complex, but when we get
I think,
back to this, it's great.
yeah, I think it's just like, how Greg Braden mentioned in his one of the first season, first episode, which is cyclic time of cycle, right?
Yes.
I believe, again, we are in that moment. When we started as a civilization, obviously we started as maybe the caimans, but just imagine what they had to do. Obviously they were more advanced, at least I guess mentally, than us, because they had nothing else going on for them. What would they judge each other on? So think about how much they would be aware of themselves within the present moment, and what kind of clarity they would have, which we don't have. And just think about it, right? And then we kept on advancing, 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 and then came about the right age, and then obviously from there the balance started dipping down again, and here we are. But I can feel like you and me talking about this, it means that we are again in the cycle when we are moving upwards now. That phase, that dark phase, I believe has passed now. We are facing its results, or after effect of what has already happened. But now, in this age that we are right now, me being aware of myself and my actions, I'm doing my bit. You are aware, you're doing your bit. And from Gaia itself, we know how many people are doing the same bit at the same time. So the times are changing, and we are moving away from the dark ages, and that age of judging and duality, and not seeing each other for who we are, and not seeing the gods in each other. I mean, just last one bit, I would like to say that, as simple as in India, how we do this namaste. And I never knew its true meaning, by the way. I just knew that just do it and you bow your head out of respect. But it meant so much more deeper, and this goes on for what, thousands of years ago, wherein the hands represents, when you bring both the hands together, you're bringing your feminine and your masculine energy together at the center of your heart. And like Greg Braden says, when you touch your heart, there is this explosion of feelings that you feel. So with your thumbs, you're touching at the center of your heart, so you feel it, right? Now when I see you, I bow down my head, and the word namaste itself means the God inside me bows down to the God inside you. How beautiful is that? So we're going into that same cycle again, when we greet each other with that kind of love and respect, and seeing each other for who we are and our God particles.
Yes, yes. I know you talked about this on your YouTube, and I love the namaste.
Yeah.
I love this. It's beautiful. I'm feeling it right now. And
Right, exactly. Just how humbling is this, right?
mm,
So imagine, no matter who you greet, right? No matter what state you're in, the moment I just bow, it means I'm humbling myself. And because my hand is at the center of my heart and I'm touching the heart center, no, I'm never going to be arrogant with you immediately. But let's just put that way, instantly. Even if that arrogance comes, it might be in the later on stage, but not immediately.
it's a
So
great
that's
reminder. Pamini, thank you so much. Thank you so much for being with me today. And I know we had some issues with Wi-Fi going out at your home, and I know it's very late and time for you to have dinner. And I just want you to know how much I love and treasure you, how much I thank you for being with me today and doing this together. We just stuck in there until we got it right.
And
And
we did. Thank you so much for having me again. I love this section. I just love the way, we explored each other. I love talking with you, and this whole thing was just so spot on.
we will do more of it, I am sure. And so
I'd
I
love
want to say
to.
thank you to all the listeners, and to namaste to all the listeners, and to you, Pamini. And
Yes, and to you.
please, and to everyone, to look at the link below and join our Gaia community, because we really are an amazing awakening community of people that are in love with life itself and each other, and we encourage you to join us and also learn on Gaia. So I will put all the links below, and I hope you all loved this episode with Pamini Rathore. Pamini, you're gorgeous. You are absolutely a goddess. I'm sure we were sisters in another life. I'm sure we were. I just feel that so.
Well, I know we are even now. I mean, there is nothing that's stopping us from being now.
That's exactly true. You're the sister I always wanted. Perfect. Perfect. Thank you, my friend. Much love,
Thank
many
you.
blessings. Have a great dinner
Thank you.
tonight.
And you too. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Bye. Bye,
Bye.
everybody.